Hello everybody, Cybernary here. Welcome back to another episode of CybCraft. I am here at the volcano base working on some Thaumcraft stuff, and I wanted to give you a little bit of record a little bit of an update. I am currently smelting down some redstone so I can get some potentia to fuel my jetpack, as well as brewing some harming potions to take over to the blaze farm. But in today's episode, we're going to be going over several of the things that I've been doing with Thaumcraft, as well as a little update on where I'm at with the volcano. I've been doing a little bit of work on it, and it is getting close to finishing up at the top. I'm going to form a crater up there at the top, kind of a shallow depression where all the lava is going to sit and flow out the outside of the volcano. So, you saw in the last episode, it was a lengthy one where we built ourselves an altar for Thaumcraft, but the one thing that we didn't get a chance to do was, if I remember correctly, is make something on the altar. So, I have been recording some footage here and there over the past week, and I've got, I don't know, I'm not going to call it a time lapse because I'm not going to put it to music, but I will do a voiceover explaining what I was doing, making this, my jetpack. It's a thermostatic harness, so I do need to get some levels and go and enchant it up with the usual stuff like haste and magic resist and repair and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, what I'm doing here is I'm melting down the redstone so I can get the potentia, which is what which is the blue, that blue stuff right there, which is what the jetpack runs on. So these jars here are the same essence that you would see over on the table, and what we use to combine certain elements to make spells and such. So whereas in the past we've been doing spells on here using the magic that's in our wands, the altar uses the magic that's in the jars and combines all that with the items that are on the altars. So you'll see a little bit there where I was going around and I was using this Almibek and this furnace to break down certain items to get the magic parts that fill these jars, so that we can build the jetpack. I've also built the boots of the traveler, which make moving around quite a bit easier. Okay, so I'm going to gather that up, and now I am at 64. So I've got a little bit extra here, and I can grab some jars. Let's see, where are some extra jars? How much extra do I have there? 6? Actually, no, I don't need a jar. I'll just put it in my other potentia container that I use for altar use, because I just wanted to fill up my jetpack. So potentia is something that we're going to be using a lot of for jetpack, but we also use it for different spells and stuff. So, and then when we come over here and check on how my brewing is going, go ahead and brew up another 12 potions for the blaze farm. Yep, there we go. Instant damage, splash. Instant damage to splash. So that's our potion of choice when beating down the blaze. We will be fighting the Ender Dragon soon, which means that once we get that done, we'll be able to do build the Ender Grinder. So it's one of those and one of those. Bump. Bump. bump, bump, bump. Okay, cool. So once those get done, then we will have a good load of potions to take with us to the Blaze Farm, so we can enchant this. To open this up, we shift right click, and then we can put our jar of Potentia, a full jar of Potentia. Each jar can only contain 64 of that type of magic essence. And then once we have that, we put it back on. And you see the bar that I've got over here on the left, that's how full my Potentia jar is. I hit F to enable it, and now I see a little shocking thing. I can use the space bar to fly up, or the shift to fly down, just like normal flying abilities. Now you will see it's kind of slow at this point. That is because I don't have haste enchanted on it. Once I get haste enchanted along with a couple other things, then yeah, I'll be able to go much faster. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to do it through books. I'm going to take some books with me, enchant the books, and then enchant the jetpack. So at that, I am going to cut at this point, and we will do the footage of me going through and building the jetpack and everything that I have to do with that. I'll do some narration over that just so you see how that's done, and then when we get back, I'll be over at the Blaze Farm working on getting some levels to enchant the jetpack. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, I'm going to record a brief narration over what I'm doing here. This is a clip that I recorded a while back, a few days ago, where I was making the jetpack, and I'm probably going to fast forward through some of this and just to give you a brief explanation of what's happening here, because I'm not sure if I've ever made anything on the altar before. When you're making things with on the infusion altar, it requires a couple different things. Obviously, it requires the objects in the recipe that you're making. That's in this recipe, if you look, that's the items that are in the center: the gold, the iron, the leather tunic. But then there's also the essence or the magic that the altar requires to fuse all this together to give it its magic properties. Now, what we've been making in the past have been on the altar, or not the altar, I'm sorry, the arcane workbench. The arcane workbench pulls its magic out of wands. What we're doing is we're pulling magic out of these jars, and what you see me doing here is going into the book, into where it lists all the different types of essence there are, and finding out what objects have this type of essence, so I can smelt them down in the arcane furnace and grab them with the jars and place the jars around the infusion altar, and to make the process work properly. So this recipe in particular requires the feather essence. It requires Potentia, which is the blue thing right there that I'm hovering over. It requires Mechanation, which is machines, and it also requires I-tier, which is travel. I-tier is the component that I'm choosing for I-tier is rails. The component that I'm choosing for Machina and Potentia are redstone. The component I'm choosing for the feather is actually feathers, and so that's where I'm getting all four of my elements. And what I'm doing at this point is I'm going and I'm grabbing all the elements. I'm checking to see how much essence I need of each element and how much each object is going to boil down to when it comes to essence. So I need 16 I-tier, I need 32 of the other three, and it's always important to gather more than what you need, because you'll see here in a minute when we start making it, when we activate the altar, the infusion altar, and it starts processing everything, then you'll see that there are problems if you don't have kind of an overflow. So I'm gonna pause here for a second, and we'll fast forward up to the part where we're gathering up the last of our essences, so that you can see that process, and then we'll start the infusion process. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that short little time lapse. What we're doing now is we're gathering the last of our essences. I have put the redstone in the furnace, and now redstone produces two different type of essences. It produces machina and it produces potentia. I'm waiting for the machina to build up so I can gather that up, and then once the machina is done gathering, it'll start collecting the potentia. Now, you could bypass this process or speed up this process by putting two, or you could stack albecs on top of each other, and they could then be pulling the essences out at the same time. I've just got the one. Eventually I probably will add more, but for right now, yeah, it just adds the one. So now, since I'm smelting down 16 of the redstone, that means I'm going to be getting 32 potentia. That will take for a few minutes for it to load up, or to gather up. The next step will be to place everything around on the altar. One of the things that I am working on doing, or planning on doing after I got done with this, was to start working on some more wand foci, or focuses. Foci, I guess, would be the plural. And so what I'm doing here is I'm researching all the different foci that I can build in the arcane workbench as opposed to using the infusion altar, because I've found that there are several magic enchantments that you can put on foci, including frugal, which makes things cheaper to cast, soul bond, which means the wand will stick with you when you die, potency, which makes your spells more powerful. So those are a couple of the spells or enchantments that you can put on wand, but you have to enchant the foci, not the wand itself. So now I've got all my essence. I'm going to go back to my recipe, and I'm going to look at how the the layout of the different objects is done. So I need to put all 9 of those objects on the altars around the essence altar. And that's why we have so many altars all the way around it. Now you see that I've got a perfect 16 in that I tier jar that we just passed. That's the little orange guy on the road. That will become relevant here in a minute when I activate it, and we run into a little bit of a problem, and I don't have extra. And it's a good lesson to remember to always melt out or gather up more than you need just so you have extra in the case of an emergency. So we're putting the wood down. The next is going to be the iron. But I need to, or no, the next is the air shards. Yes, I'm pulling down some shards. I make sure that I've got extras of all of those in case something does happen during the infusion and we end up losing one of those pieces. I don't want to have to run back and get more. Just making room on my hotbar to put all this stuff down. I will need the wand when I'm ready to activate it, so I need to click on the matrix in the middle to start the process of infusion. So we'll put our iron down. Our gold is next, and then the last thing is would be the redstone comparator. So just double checking that I've got everything in the right place. Place down the redstone comparator, and now all I have to do is click on the matrix with my wand and start it up. It starts pulling all the essence it needs out of each of the jars. It starts with the feather jar first, and you'll see all the particle effects and the animations. Thaumcraft did a really good job when they thought about how they were going to animate all this stuff. So now it's pulling potentia out of the jar. That's the light blue. It's almost done. Then it's going to pull. So okay, so there it starts to pull the machina out of its jar. And you see those lightning bolts that are coming out of there? Sometimes they end up striking and messing up your infusion. Just like that. And that is what's called flux. That's bad magic. So at this point, my infusion has been interrupted, and I had to go in and replace that piece of gold. That's why I said to have extras. Now it starts gathering the items that are on each of the altars. That's what it's doing there. It's pulling all the items across. But I have something else happen here. Another lightning bolt right when it gets to the iron, and it can't grab that one. So now we've got a problem. It's now halted due to the flux that's on that platform. And if you saw when I hovered over that, it needs one more I tier. If I had extra I tier in my jar, it would have just gobbled up that last iron and made what it needed to. So I have to run back to the storage room, and I have to grab some more rails and smelt up some more rails to be able to finish up, to get some more I tier to finish up this infusion. I'm not going to drop all of them in because I want to have a couple on backup. Now I'm going to have to go and grab those jars, which is the I think it was the machina, but it's actually the metallum, the one next to it, that I need to grab. And it's easier to pick up the jars when you have a pickaxe. The entire time this is happening, I'm getting hit by some of these lightning bolts and taking a little bit of damage here and there. So now I've got my I tier and my machinum jar, but I don't have my metallum jar. I need metallum, not machinum. So I put machinum down right over here, and I go get my metallum jar, because it won't let me. Again, if I had 2 of the little egg dudes, I could grab the one that I want when that I need when I need it. So I'm grabbing my I tier. I put that down, and then make sure that I've got the iron up there on And it grabs that, it grabs the I tier, and voila, we've got ourselves a jetpack. So not too bad. I mean, we do have some flux we got to deal with, but it could have gone smoother, but it could have been much worse. How do you deal with the flux now that you've got it? Well, the best way to do it is just to grab a block and overwrite it. Once you place a block down where the flux is, it will go away and won't affect you and your world anymore. So I realized after I did the 2 blocks of wood that I don't have an axe on me, so I need another block that is a little bit easier to gather up, and that would be these rails. So I can't place rails on half slabs, so I'll deal with those in a second. We're just going to place these rails down, get rid of that flux before it contaminates our world. The flux is what gives us taint. When you're out in the overworld and you see these biomes that have been converted into the nasty purple biomes that have all the bugs and the tentacles and everything, then that's a tainted biome, and that's this is where that stuff comes from. Bad magic that people have let get away from them. So if you're careful, then you shouldn't get too much taint, and it won't affect the land that's around you, as long as you take care of it right away. So I'll place those slabs back and rebuild kind of my altar here with my decorations, because the decorations do help increase the stability of the different infusions that we do. Well, and that's about that. We have ourselves a jetpack. The one thing that we need to do now is fuel it up and enchant it. It does take potentia, which is the blue stuff, and what I'm going to do here in a second is go and grab a stack of redstone and smelt it down, and just to fill up a full jar of potentia just for the jetpack. So I'm going to open up my Thaumcraft here and read up on it and see exactly what I need to do before I start gathering some fuel. So I hope this little walkthrough has been helpful to you guys. $800 blazes. Oh my, this is going to be painful. I'm down to 1 frame a second, so let's throw this Splashpot and try to get some frames back, shall we? Alright, ready for the experience? Oh, I can't see. Gotta run away. Where am I running? Where's my enchanting table? Okay, I can see again. So, we are going to do protection for book. That's 14 levels. We're going to do a soul bond book. Where's this soul bond book? Enchant. We're going to do haste book. You may be wondering why I'm doing this all on books, and I'll show you in a second. Oh no, we want magic resistance as well, so let's enchant magic resistance book. Let's do need protection. Oh, we need repair also. Let's get haste. We're still just gobbling up experience, aren't we? That was 800 blaze, that's a lot. We want repair. So repair, haste, magic, protection, soul bond. I don't need feather falling. Protection, haste, magic resistance, repair, and soul bond. Protection. Protection. Haste. Haste, magic resistance. Magic resistance, repair, and soul bond. Okay. Well, I'll take those the rest of those 27 levels back, and I don't need respiration or aqua affinity. I think those are the 5 that I need for this guy. So we'll take the rest of those 27 levels back. We'll put these all back here for our other CybCrafters. And we'll be back in a second. Okay, back here at base, and I was going to show you why I went to the trouble of putting all those enchantments on books. For whatever reason, we can't enchant the jetpack directly. Apparently that's a bug. So what we are doing is we are trying the book trick to put all of those enchantments that we want on this using books. So first and foremost, we want protection. Yep. So that's going to take 6 levels, and then we want haste. That's going to take 9. Magic resist repair. Oh, 14. Okay. What about soul bond? That's 10. Okay. And then what do I need for this one? 19 for magic resistance. Okay. 12 and 19. Well, I've got some experience berries bushes over here that I can grab, and let's see if we can get enough to level up to finish. Oh, don't hurt me. To finish this up. Oh, 16. Alright, well that's enough to give me a little bit more for nope, 18 for repair. Let's try it the other way. Oh, it doesn't let me do it the other way. Okay. Well, I can... No, I can't do that one. 18 and 19. Well, it looks like there's going to be another trip back to the Blaze Farm here in a second. Well, I think that about does it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that little walkthrough on how to go about making the jetpack and what's involved in building something with the Thaumcraft altar. Infusion altar is what that's called. If you haven't noticed, I have started running a texture pack. This is the R3D texture pack that's been slightly modified by me. I've added a couple of things from Code Crafters and a couple of things from my own. Doing the XP orbs were something that I did myself, where I kind of made them a little bit more transparent and easier to see. The fire animation is also a lot smaller, so it doesn't fill up your entire field of vision when you get caught on fire. Little things like that I've altered. Of course, I've pulled some of the wool and the redstone and textures from Code Crafters, just because that's a lot cleaner. So this is kind of a little custom pack that I'm running. It is kind of a faithful pack, so I do like that. Yeah, lots of fun. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have, please be sure to give us a like. And yeah, look at that. Haste is awesome. We can move much faster now. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye.